Justin Hawkins writes again. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. Please like, subscribe, do all the stuff, watch all the videos, have all of the fun. Today, I'm going to be reacting to the thing that everybody's got a hot take on. Everybody's talking about it. Every musician in the world has an opinion. A lot of people on the internet who didn't have opinions before suddenly have opinions. And it's about the Beatles, and it's about Get Back, you know, that mega documentary. Don't let me down. 6 hours of brilliant footage when they were, you know what it is, it's when they were preparing for the TV special that was supposed to be Let It Be, culminating in the performance on the rooftop in Savile Row, isn't it? Savile Row? Down there? Lovely part of London, that. And it makes me laugh because you see so many people reacting to it. It's almost, I wanted my hot take to be that I don't have a take, because everyone's got one. And opinions are like bumholes, and a lot of those people's bumholes stink, don't they? I saw one thing, it was some bloke who was in some band in the 90s. You know, it was probably a Britpop band, probably a peripheral Britpop band, saying, "Oh my God, having his girlfriend there all the time. Can you imagine that? It changes the dynamic. There's no way you can do effective songwriting when you got your girlfriend sitting there watching you every time you try and pick up the guitar and do something." It's like, fucking idiot. A total twat. I mean, and first of all, no one cares what he thinks. No one cares about his songwriting. He can't write songs, not because his girlfriend came along and it spoilt the dynamic, because he's fucking shit at writing songs. The Beatles is probably, four of the most creative people that the UK has ever produced. If you go to Liverpool and you walk around there, they've completely changed the culture of that city. And you play a concert in Liverpool, you can feel that it's where the Beatles came from. They changed a lot of stuff, and there are some people who are sort of in denial, saying, "Oh, you know, well, the world wouldn't necessarily be completely different without the Beatles." It probably would be markedly different. I think when they were inventing pop music and a lot of guitar-based music, I think they were also inventing the technology that you need to be able to do that. They had a record company that was completely supportive and helped them to invent stuff like, I'm going to say some things now which they might not have invented. The Phasotron sound effect. And just some of the innovations that George Martin was doing to make those sounds. They're really clever people, really creative people, brilliant songwriters. One of them seemed to have a real musical education. He understood composition in a way that most people who write songs today don't. That's Sir Paul McCartney. A Knight of the Realm, another Knight of the Realm. John Lennon, I know some people dismiss his writing as being like Three Blind Mice, but they usually credit him as being the one who's sort of got a slightly darker mindset and writes more interesting lyrics. I don't buy into any of that stuff, actually. Ringo Starr, people used to reject him as like a really basic drummer, but he's a bloke who was always playing along. And, you know, I've seen the joke when Ringo writes a song and then they put it on the fridge so everyone can see it. I've seen that joke. I think he contributed in a lot of really important ways. Actually, it reminded me a lot of somebody I know who also plays drums. He might just be the living embodiment of what a drummer ought to be, really. What's the other one? George Harrison. I always thought he was one of the more spiritual folks, but it's just brilliant to watch that documentary and see all of those things get shattered, and all of your sort of perception of the hierarchy and who was contributing what just changes when you see this thing. One of the most important things is the Yoko Ono debate. Why is everyone gone about Yoko Ono? When you see her, like in all those years, those decades when she used to show up at things on red carpets and belligerently say, "Hi, I'm Yoko Ono, I'm a stylish, artistic woman. Here we are." I always wondered, like, if you were, like, if people laid the blame for the disruption and destruction of one of the most important sort of music groups of all time at one woman's door, how can you not implode with all of that pressure? I mean, how can you do... She was I always thought she was awesome the way she was still going about and doing stuff. I mean, like she didn't give a fuck, you know, because she knew those people were wrong. And I think it's amazing that what's his name, Peter Jackson, has now shown everybody that they were completely wrong about her. I think that's sort of whenever a girlfriend of a band up until Spinal Tap. Up until the movie This Is Spinal Tap came out, I think whenever there was somebody who had a girlfriend in the band that was sort of perhaps a little bit too invested in the creative process or seemed to disrupt things in a way, they would always be called Yoko. You've seen it a million times. It's like her name is synonymous with disruptive spousal influence on a creative entity. It's disgusting. It really is. I mean, if you look at when you watch this documentary and you see that it's the Beatles, they're already winding down. They're already acknowledged that it's probably the last thing they're going to do, and the fact that Yoko's there as a completely benign presence, she doesn't seem to be participating at all, apart from when it's okay to participate and, you know, they're just pissing about. There's always people milling around in that room. One of them happens to be the person that John Lennon loves, and if John Lennon loves them, why don't you love them? People are so foolish. Drives me insane, makes me angry in a way. One of my friends is a great writer, and he contextualised the Let It Be stuff and the Get Back documentary in a way that I think is really important to do. And he said that just prior to the filming of the TV special and all this recently hitherto unseen footage was unearthed and restored, just before they filmed that stuff, John Lennon and Yoko Ono had suffered a very late-term miscarriage, which is a horrible thing to go through for anybody. It's the idea that somebody who didn't need to go to the studio would then leave the person that he loves, who's just suffered that kind of devastating loss, and you know, why would you just leave that person at home to go through that? And then go off and just make a Beatles album. He didn't. He took her with him. I totally applaud it. And people just don't care about people anymore, do they? They think, oh, it's the Beatles. She broke up the Beatles. No, they were already dying. It was nearly over. You can see that. And yeah, it made me like them. Made me love him more. Actually, I probably identify more with him than I ever did. So it's changed my perception, and it'll change yours as well. Then there's a lot of people whose hot take is, oh, Paul McCartney is way more talented than I realised. Paul McCartney from the Beatles, the greatest songwriter there's ever been, probably. Listen to all of his solo recorded output. One of the greatest Bond themes is a Paul McCartney song. He's brilliant. He's always been brilliant. He's always been my favourite Beatle. And he dresses impeccably. Actually, I might start wearing a bit more white stuff, having seen how John Lennon, when he has all greasy hair. Oh, the other thing is, like, so John Lennon's there, and they're all sort of, at the beginning of the documentary, they all seem to be really coming down from some kind of long period of prolonged marijuana use or something. They seem to be sort of lethargic, let's put it that way. But for the majority of that 6-hour documentary, it's 4 men pissing about. Sometimes it's 3 men pissing about, but there's a lot of pissing about. It's really inspiring that they had a deadline that was completely unrealistic and spent all that time just arsing around. You have to respect it. Cheers. Like, subscribe, and remember, there's a lot to be said for pissing around. Justin Hawkins, writer,